That's all the bullets. Fucking hell.
Today, a short story of a man named Martin on a desperate search for true love, with the help of his trusty steed, Warnock. So Martin walked into a bar. Martin was a bit of a pussy, and needed to chug a bottle before he went over to talk to her. He gave him his best moves, and she gave him the bedroom eyes.
Don't you just brighten up a girl's day.
He thought he had found love. Eliza suggested taking it to her barn, and Martin agreed, but this gentleman here, named Bill, probably her father, thought that he was invited and suggested a threesome.
Are you trying to have sex with me?
So Martin wanted to show Eliza who the big dog was, fired one tiny little bullet, sent the place wild. Bill then very cowardly kidnapped Eliza, and this sent Martin into a rage. He goes on a rampage and tears through the bar, except from these total boys whose poker game was far more interesting than a casual homicidic maniac, and the bartender who adopts the plane crash technique of doing fuck all but tucking in. Martin then goes around the state trying to find Eliza. He bumps into a couple, and after attempting to greet them pleasantly, this wacko offers Martin another threesome. Big dog. Martin reacts with a push which quickly escalates, and Martin is then bummed. Post-bumming, Martin wants revenge on the couple, and runs back to show the couple what a true rascalatin looks like. Warnock still by his side, turning the other cheek to his misdemeanors. People aren't giving him answers, but Martin knows something's up, so he lassos this little melt. No, please, don't hurt me. Still no answers, so Martin tickles his anus and moves on with his hunt for Eliza. He then gets this piece of ass, who shows no fear, like a real boss. Don't worry about it, I do not fear death. He then proceeds to randomly die by a blade of grass. Martin gets fed up and goes to this gaff where some deaf kid tries to get his attention. This man then rudely assumes Martin's gender.
Good to see you again, mister.
So he turns into a train. Martin decides to vent by kicking a turtle for 18 straight minutes. A lonely settler by the name of Steve Ryder Dickinson offers a hand in friendship, symbolised by the dive into Martin's kicks, showing him he understands that Martin's the alpha. Steve then offers to help Martin find Eliza. All he wants in return is a sick game of drown my high school bullies. Martin agrees, and the pair easily locate the bullies. They watch as they slowly sink away into the cold hands of death. While Steve was taunting his bullies, Martin had his mind focused elsewhere.
Where is Eliza?
Steve has had his fun and decides to end it by showing his strength and subsequent swimming skills. Martin is impressed. Martin then wants to show Steve a few wrestling moves and gets ready to RKO the shit out of the melon. Steve says, "Nah, G, watch this," and executes a pretty disappointing spinebuster. The pair then whisper sweet nothings into the little lizard's ear.
Ooh, you got some pretty lips there, young fella. My daddy used to tuck me in real good before night time.
Once realising he's already dead, Steve calmly carries out what he had planned anyway. Steve shows Martin what dynamite is, and as the inventor of dynamite, Steve firms the explosion off as merely a flesh wound. He does so again, and the pair laugh it off. Steve suggests a game of who can survive a shotgun bullet to the face. Martin wins, but at the cost of Steve's life. Devastated by Steve's freak accident, Martin turns to violence and fighting with his friends, including Warnock's cousin, Scrawny Nag. SN snitches on Martin, and Warnock tells him that he needs some time to think. Mourning the loss of his once best friend, Martin gets back on the hunt for Eliza.
Oh, fuck my little twat flaps.
The man threatens Martin.
You're in serious trouble when I get out of this.
Martin agrees to let him free, only to jump at the opportunity of having the man's last words to be as ironic as possible.
Eat this!
He then takes his hat to really piss on his corpse. Some wetbag appears out of nowhere
Oh, you're gonna pay!
and goes to snitch on what he's just seen. Martin is sent into a panic and fires a few bullets into the apparently invincible snitch. Thankfully, a kind stranger offers Martin his horse.
The hell away from
Martin GTFs out of there and is free to enjoy these lovely views all to himself. If only Eliza was there to enjoy it with him. More interrogations lead to Martin attempting to sacrifice a bystander to a nearby alligator. But the croc doesn't like snakes and attacks poor defenseless Martin. After dusting himself down, Martin continues on his spree, including this wet Donny here. You best not touch my dang horse! Martin tries for a quick kiss from the horse, but she doesn't budge. The horse was a no, but this guy's gagging for it, and asked Martin to loosen the ropes just a bit. Oh, fuck
be silly, baby.
The ropes are loosened, but Wet Donnie remembers he's a giver, not a taker, and tries to shoot Martin. Big mistake, and boy does he know it. Enough time to try for that kiss again. A no is a no, I suppose.
No more betrayals.
Screams Martin. Wet Man responds with,
Go darn tarnation!
and in memory of Steve, Martin blows the shit out of the Donny. I'm talking about the dynamite, not an act of fellatio, you filthy minx. Certain that this nonce has information on Eliza,
No, don't do it. I'm a virgin.
Martin practices his wrist action and gets rid of that dirty muff. The nonce must be a twin, as an exact replica comes at Martin with full force. Thankfully, Martin managed to overpower his stiff arm and pushes him down hard as he ties him up. Bang bang! Martin, you kinky sod. Leave some arse for the rest of us. The OG nonce actually must have been a triplet, and Martin looks to have met his match. A couple of grazes and gunshots to the face later, and the pair begin to scrap. Martin beats the living shit out of the triplet and proceeds to give him a good old-fashioned bang bang. Bang bang, bang bang! Suddenly, Cocaine Bear joins the party and darts towards Martin, temporarily stopping his journey. Months have passed, and having done some thinking, Martin is out of hospital, all alone. But wait, what's this? It's Warnock! Warnock's back! Horsey is back! Could it be that after all this time, Martin was looking for his true love when it was right under his nose all along? Nobody knows Martin like Warnock does. Nobody has shared as many memories as Warnock has. It all makes sense now. Warnock is Martin's true love. The pair quickly dispatch of this bellend after again assuming Martin's identity.
Hi, mister.
Then they spend the night together, doing nothing but reminiscing, talking, riding, and enjoying the scenery. The next morning, Warnock takes Martin to his favourite spot. But Martin has taken some bad hits and some shots to the face over the years.
And he flips, and he races towards the cliff's edge. Warnock hesitates, and he tries to stop, but the momentum is too much, and they fall. They fall to their deaths.
Bringing an end to what you would consider the most tragic love story that ever existed. Jokes! Turns out it was just some lazy script writing and it was all a dream. Martin actually is still in hospital after his mauling by the bear. He's still alone and he's still very sad, but he's a bit of a dick. So I don't actually know why you were rooting for him.
The end.